Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won. For all things Miami, it's Dolphins Thursday.
Hello, Miami Dolphin fans. Big fins up. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. Nice day here in South Florida. Can't wait till this weekend. It's going to be a fun weekend. On Saturday, I will be walking in the Dolphins Challenge Cancel annual event that they do every time. It's going to be awesome. Going to be walking with Bobby of the Fins Talk Sports Network and on the Big E team and 305 Sports Babe. Looking forward to that on Saturday morning. Then after that, I'll be driving on Sunday morning over to beautiful Fort Myers, Florida to catch some Boston Red Sox spring training action. So this weekend can't get here fast enough. I can't wait for it. It's going to be fun weekend in South Florida. Hopefully, it's looking like the weather is going to be holding up nicely. Hope that plays out on the West Coast and the East Coast this weekend because it's going to be a fun weekend. Can't wait to be talking to all the fellow Dolphin fans. On Friday, we're going to be meeting up as a team of us that's walking all together. And then Saturday, we'll all walk together. And then Sunday is baseball mode. So it's a good, fun weekend ahead. My son and I will be driving over to Fort Myers. Good morning, Dolphin Don. Big fan to you. Back It Up Ben's podcast. Big fins up to you as well. As you guys know, this is a little bit of a slow part of the season because still decisions to be made. But as my thumbnail says, the Dolphins have a lot of decisions to need to be made. Main one, of course, and I think it's a foregone conclusion at this point that he's probably going to be gone. Kristen Wilkins. Only question is that if you have enough cap to put a tag and try to trade him, but I just think he's gone. Xavier Howard's another name that's been making the rounds. He posted his thing, basically quoting or use Usher to express his feelings. So, and he is on record basically saying he would not really favor a pay cut, but of course, who among us would favor a pay cut? So that kind of goes without saying. But sometimes players will take one, but he doesn't seem to be on that forefront. So we got that. Barry Jackson had a couple interesting articles this week. One of them was basically feeding off what Tannenbaum, I call him Tannenbaum, who used to run the Dolphins and the Jets in the past. What he said he would trade Waddle to Kansas City straight up for the McDuffie cornerback, and that both teams would benefit. So that was a little stuff. That's just him throwing stuff out there. Of course, Barry lists cornerbacks as one of our needs. I know a lot of us don't have that, but his reasoning makes sense because Howard's unknown. Cater Cole, who fell off from his first season, he did not have a great second follow-up season. Cam Smith is a great unknown. He only got like 25 defensive snaps the whole year, so can you count on him? So who's going to play opposite Ramsey? So he has cornerback way up the list of needs for the Miami Dolphins to go along, of course, with linebacker, offensive line, a third receiver, and all that good stuff that we all say. A tight end, defensive line if we do lose Wilkins. So there's a lot of needs at the Dolphins and a lot of decisions that they have to make. And just to get under the cap is the next big thing. Good morning, Steve Malloy. Big fins up to you. We had a fun show last night with El Capitan of the Fins Tailgate. We had real talk last night on the Fins Talk Sports Network. It was a fun show. Good morning to you, too. Sorry if I Ribera, Manolo Ribera. If I butcher your name, there's no disrespect. I butcher my own name sometimes. So it's all good. Oh, Raphael snuck into the room. Good morning to you as well, Raphael. And Back It Up Ben podcast, giving you guys, Dolph and Don, all a big welcome. Scotty, it's always a pleasure to see you come into the room. I'm excited to see the new direction the team is going. Lots of coming down. Yes, it's going to come down as we sit. I always have to make sure I don't give you guys the wrong date. February 21st, March 13th is a new league year. A lot of decisions need to be made in the next couple of weeks. We will see. It's going to be interesting on how we go about it. But the funny thing is, I wasn't even thinking of cornerback as a big need. But once I read Barry Jackson's article, it made a lot of sense. If you move on from Xavier, Cam Smith's an unknown, Cater Kohu dropped off, cornerback all of a sudden becomes a need as well. So really, I know Bobby has echoed this, but I've said it also many times before. The only position that would shock me in the first round for the Miami Dolphins is quarterback. There's really no other. Receiver was surprised me. It wouldn't shock me, but it would surprise me. But outside of those positions, really, and I would say tight end just because I don't think the value at tight end would be there because, Bowers is not going to fall. And I don't think there's going to be the value there at tight end in the first round. So a few positions would surprise me, but shock me outside of quarterback. There's no position that would shock me. And before we even talk about the draft, of course, we have to see what guys we are keeping, what guys we are moving on from, what guys we are bringing into the house. So there's a lot to do. Hey, Michael K, big fins up to you. Thank you for coming into the room from the Western New York region. There, I said it right. I didn't say Northern New York. I think I got it right this time, Michael K. Western New York region. Thank you for popping into the room this morning. Hey, G-Man, I know you're going to bring all your positive energy and all your positive rainbows and ice cream outlook like you always do, G-Man. I know it. I feel it. Let's see. Yes, I really want Hunt re-signed, man. I really good. I got it right. So yes, I want Hunt. That's my number one guy to this free agency as far as in-house people to keep. Because of course, living on Fantasy Island, I would say Kristen Wilkins. And sorry guys, I had my phone on there. But yeah, I wouldn't have Kristen Wilkins and all that. But I think that's you're basically living in fantasy land if you think you can keep him at this point and keep two. I mean, yes, you can re-sign Tua, free up some money, but if you have him playing on the 5th-year option and doing all these moves, I think Wilkins he's going to get that tested market and he's going to be playing in another uniform next year. Unless, hey, you never know. But that's it. So of the realistic ones, I want Hunt. I think you can get Hunt and have him be playing. And that's my guy too, Scotty. So we're on the same page on that one. There's going to be some people I hate to see go. Wilkins among them. Xavier Howard, he's the longest tenured Dolphins on that. But I think he's going to be a post June 1st, definitely. You get I think 2 first. You can designate 2 players post June 1st. Is what I believe the rule is. He's definitely going to be one of them because it definitely makes no sense to cut him before June 1st because the dead cap money would be it would be a horrible financial decision by the Miami Dolphins to cut him or trade him before June 1st. So, we got that. And then I don't know who else they can do post June 1st. So that should be good. Hey, Canes Dolphin 89, big fins up to you. And salute all you guys too, man. Hey, I believe the tag for Hunt would be 11 million. I think that's now impossible if you can't work out a deal or at least give us more. Yes, I agree, man. And Hunt definitely deserves his payday. He's been consistent for us for the most part until this year. He stayed away from the injury. He plays those snaps. He's been reliable, and he gets out there and he plays at a good level And hopefully, if he hits the open market, you never know, man. Capitalism, you never know. It's what someone's willing to pay for him. If someone really needs a guard, they're going to go out there. Someone that has a whole bunch of cap space to blow, you know, he may get out of our price range. So we will see on that. Bye bye, X. Everyone criticized for handling of Cam Smith. Let's see what he. Yep, that's it for sure. Jeff, you are 100% right. We're going to know if it was just Fangio being him, being tough on the rookie, or the guy just it's not an NFL caliber player. His rookie season's over. He only got 25 snaps. He didn't get much experience, but now he knows what it takes to be. He's been around an NFL roster for a year now. No excuses for the young man. New defensive coordinator comes in with a clean slate. He just got to go out there and ball out. If his reputation is that, it's not a hard. I'm not saying it is or it's not, but some people say he wasn't the hardest worker in college. So we will see. He has a chance to eliminate that narrative on his career and go out there and ball for the Miami Dolphins. Improve. Those are just fake stories out there in social media land. Yes, Miss Finns. And guys, again, it goes without saying, and I'm sure most of you already follow her, but go check out Miss Finn. She bringing great Miami Dolphins content every morning, basically 8 a.m. So 9-ish, 9:30, sometimes all the way up to 10. She's always on a roll. And then she's also on Wednesdays and nights now. I'm ready to move on from Wilkins, Howard, and Connor. It's hard to get there, but those to me are the Connor. I agree just because of the injury. We don't even know if he's going to be able to start the season. But Connor Williams, man, was a major cog for us. So that's a tough one to want to move on from. But I understand your reasoning. And especially if they draft at center, but we don't know. So that's why we're going to have to see what they do in free agency because all this has to be decided before the draft. This is how it's set up. You got to do all these moves. So if you let Connor walk, you better have that center at the top of your list in this upcoming draft. Because do you really want Eichenberg to be your starting center entering next season? That's a big, big, big question. Eichenberg will be entering his fourth season already, man. Time flies. And we kind of know where we stand with Eichenberg. He can fill in at a lot of spots. A guy that helps the roster, helps the versatility of the offensive line. He's played every position along the offensive line in his career with the Miami Dolphins now. But do you really want him to be your number one starter center going into the 2024 season when it's going to be another year of must win? Do you want Eichenberg to be at the anchor of your line? That's a big question to answer. Oh, I know you. I know you drafted when we did our mock draft on Monday. You drafted the powerful. I use the word powerful because his name is Powers, actually. But you drafted him out of Oregon with that first pick. Hey, that would fill the need right there. Boom. So, but that's banking on him being there. I know he's moving up draft boards. Historically, centers have not been towards the top of the draft boards, but this kid's name's getting out there a lot. So we will see. Of course, we don't know what teams are thinking. We just know what the names that are popular out there among our fans and the public, all the media outlets. His name is very popular. So I'm sure he's on teams' radars as well. Oh, Timothy Washington, a big fence up to you. I did not see you sneak into the room as well. So thank you. Let's see. Yes, Miss Vince, trying to get there. All good teammates, all the way around, trying to get to that 1,000 teammates here on Dolphin Thirsty. But it's a fun journey nonetheless. Yeah, I want that to us to get. Yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling top two guys I want teams are going to jump us to quite possibly. That's why you never know. The draft is one of the most fun things of any sport. I would say it's probably the most fun thing of any off-season event for any of the sports and all of sports. It's like the NFL draft. all the team, all the sports have the draft, but there's just something special about the NFL draft. The ratings will prove my words. It's shot up in popularity. Like I said many times before, I watched the draft before it was even popular when it used to just be on Tuesday mornings, and their biggest advertisement was like helmet phones. Oh, the big old helmet phones of the team that they used to have on the desk on the tables at the old New York facility where they used to have the NFL draft every single year. So times have changed. It's almost like a mini Super Bowl in the offseason. They move it around from city to city. I was like, man, they're crazy. No one's gonna show up for the draft like that. There was, they just had a few people in the balcony at New York that got lucky enough to get some seats. No one, thousands show up in these cities, man, every year for the draft. It's crazy what the NFL draft has become. Just the marketing of the NFL surpasses that of everything else. And I'm a big baseball fan, and it's baseball has no marketing compared to the NFL. It's just everything in the NFL is huge. Hey, Adam, your Panthers are playing super. I still need to get a game. They're so close to my house here. I mean, that arena is within minutes of all I have to do is hop on the 75 for a few minutes from my home in Pembroke Pines, and I'm right there at the arena. And I need to get there. I've only been to one Panther game and the whole time they've been there. So I need to get there. Your Panthers are playing well. That's fun. At least one South Florida team's really kicking butt. I know the Heat are always okay too. But like I said, I don't follow either of those sports. So I can't talk too much. But I just want to get there. It's fun stuff. G man, don't worry. Our players are playing in Southeastern NFL playoff. Hey, you know what? Almost all teams though come down here and party along with us, I guess, in the offseason if they lose. Because right now, Kansas City seems to have a monopoly on the AFC. They got the patent for winning, and everyone else is trying to get a pending trademark on, with a little tweak on how to get that super duper guy. I mean, they got Patrick Mahomes. Is They got that generational talent on their team, and it's going to be tough. If Michael K's in here, it has to be really tough on him because they have a good team, but they always fall short to the Kansas City Chiefs. This is what it is. Dolphins are in one step below. We got to get to the step where we can win the division that Buffalo's won for 4 seasons in a row. We got to get to that level, and then we can maybe be the team that tries to knock off one of these teams instead of always having to travel for a playoff game. It's crazy, man. It's insane. We just can't get a home playoff game. It's just nuts. But that's for a whole other story. Got to win that division. And the Dolphins, they still got talent, but I think a lot of the talent's going to be going, and we may not be as talented coming into this year as we were going into last year. Granted, we have hopefully some guys returning from injuries at various points next year. Chubb will return at some point. Phillips hopefully will return sooner than expected at some point. But those are two key right there. And then we don't have Van Ginkel as a reliable backup anymore because he's going to be on the open market. Maybe you can find a way to bring him back. He's a forgotten name almost right now because everyone's talking about Xavier Howard leaving and Wilkins leaving, but Van Ginkel leaving when we don't even have healthy edge rush groups. It's tough, man. It's tough. We got nailed at the edge and we got nailed at cornerbacks if this off season is looking like. So there's a lot to do. Weaver's going to have a lot of work to do. Hopefully, he's a really good coordinator and can work with, because we're going to have some young talent probably on the team. And he's going to have to get the most out of that young talent. I like the fact that he played the game. He understands that. So hopefully he knows defensive schemes that can get the most out of our players' abilities and moving forward. Because as much as Fangio left and we were mad that Fangio left, I'm like, oh, we all kind of had a feeling it may be a one and done. It's just, and then lo and behold, it was a one and done. but he still had our defense playing well. So Weaver does have some pressure in his first season as a defensive coordinator to keep the defense playing to the standard that it was last year because we were keeping the Dolphins within the games. Our offense is the one that failed us at the end of the season because our defense kept us in the game for the most part. And then we just fell apart. So Weaver has a lot of work to do. I like what I've seen, of his talk. But again, everyone wins the press conference. So I'm not going to anoint him as the next great thing. But hopefully he gets the most out of this team and out of the talent that we have because it's not going to be as talented, I'm afraid, as last year's unit. Hey, Abba, Abba, I didn't AB. I didn't see you come in. They don't mean that much. Whining every single day. Let's see, Reaver. Let's see. Yep, Reaver, no experience, 1 year, bad move with 1 year window. Yes, I'm a little worried about that too, Jeff of the Back It Up Bins podcast, who always puts out great content on his channel. Check it out, guys. The name says it right there. But yes, I'm worried about that on the Weaver front. I wish we had a guy with a little more experience, especially with this year's team, this year's budget. This team is built for now, and we're losing actually some talent off the team. So he is definitely going to have to step up in a big way. And let's face it, if he steps up in a big way, he's going to be another one and done probably because he's probably going to go and land a head coaching position somewhere. So that'd be good though. That means things went well. If he kicks butt and the defense kicks butt, that'd be it. So that's like the best case scenario that he does so well and his defense is so top ranked that he gets hired as a head coach because his name had been mentioned already in circles as head coach future candidate. So we will see on that front. But if he does, that means hey, things went well. So he has, to me, he has a lot of pressure. He has to at least keep the defense where it was this year with no big drop off. That's a big big shoes to fill. That's a lot to fill. He's going to have to come in here and do it, though. Let's see. All I know is that I'm happy Tannenbaum is not our. Every time I see him on TV and he talked like all this, I mean, he was saying like Russell Wilson going to the Jets and all of this. I'm like, man, he would probably wishes he wasn't there. But what Joe Rose was saying this morning on the radio that, oh, Tannenbaum would love to be back running an NFL team. But I'm like, yeah, that's going to happen. He already ran the Jets into the ground, ran the Dolphins into the ground, and whatever. I guess Joe Rose and him had some kind of disagreement over the years because he goes, well, that bridge is burned. Tannenbaum's not going to be a guest on my show anymore. So I don't know what happened there, but I guess they had some kind of argument. Hey, I like McDaniel. Gee, man, I like McDaniel. I have to say, I see promise in him. And yes, I know promise means nothing. This is a win now season once again for the Miami Dolphins. But I do have confidence in McDaniel because there's probably not a coach in the NFL that we can't pick on other than Andy Reid at the end of the season. And I'm sure Buffalo fans is out there if we go and follow them, which I don't, but Michael K can probably answer if he's in here. There's probably fans that don't like their coach. There's always that. So we will see. Because we as Dolphin fans, of course, we're going to nitpick every single move, every single, play, every failed play. That's what we do. But overall, I think in the 2 years, he's led it to the playoffs. There's no playoff victories. That's bad. That's the bad part. The good part is that he is the first coach in a long time to get the Miami Dolphins to back to. We had a whole bunch of coaches. Adam Gase got us to the playoffs. Sperano got us to the playoffs, but no one ever got us back-to-back playoff appearances. So there is that. I'm not holding that as a victory. Just saying that we have taken a little bit of a step. But as we already discussed, this is ugly as far as this offseason. A lot of big decisions to be made. Injured players that had not only injuries last year that hold over into next year. Guys that are up that you I hate to see leave. And so there's a lot to talk about in the next coming days. We're gonna probably start seeing restructuring and cuts coming soon because like I said, March 13th is around the corner. Fin fans are the NFL's hardest fans to please. You might be right, Dolphin Don, but we also are the fan base that's had the longest drought without a playoff win. So I think we're kind of justified in it right now, and because we've been proven right that the moves haven't been good enough. So if you look at it that way, but yeah, we are tough to please. But I do see reason behind that. But I know Eagle fans are very tough to please. Buffalo Bills, mentioning them again. Jet fans, there's a whole bunch of fan bases that are as tough to please as we are. Philadelphia has a Super Bowl victory not that long ago, a Super Bowl appearance even more recent, and they're ready to fire people, and they wanted their coach gone this offseason. So it just shows there's a lot of fan. We focus on our team, so I understand that's how we feel. I understand, but if you look around real quick, there's a lot of teams out there complaining. But we have been way too long without it. I mean, the one thing we do all agree, Steve Malloy, if you're still in the room, Steve says it all the time. We may not always agree about how the team, is managed or who the good player or the bad players are, but the one thing we do agree on, we want the Dolphins to win. We're all Dolphin fans. At the end of the day, that's what we are. We're fans, and all we can do is basically hope. Because unless Chris Greer's calling you guys, I know he's not calling me. Let me check. Nope, he hasn't called me yet this morning. So I just ride out the ride, enjoy the ride, and hey, it is what it is. I can't really say enjoy the ride because we haven't had a playoff game for 2+ decades. December 30th, 2000. But hey, other than that, still happy to be a Dolphin fan. As you can see behind me, as I overtake my son's room. Like I say, I've been a Dolphin fan for a long time, and it's just is what it is. And I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Oh, Steve is still in the room. So thank you, Steve, for still hanging in here, giving me that watch time, all you guys. I appreciate it a lot. I'm going to drop a link if any of you guys want to come in and just say hi. I'm going to try to keep the show not too. Yeah, we are in the time of instant gratification. I agree with that, Scotty. But when it's been as long as it's been for the Dolphin fans, I do get the frustration, man. I do. I mean, coming back into a wild card win, it's just insane. It's just to me in this age when you see these teams do rebuilds quick and they get into the playoffs and win a playoff game. I mean, look at the Houston Texans for goodness sake, man. They won a playoff game this year with a rookie quarterback. And mind you, we traded Tunsil to them because they were in a win now mode with a different quarterback, different coaching staff, different general manager. That blew up in their face. They maybe won a playoff game here and there, but basically blew up in their face. And then lo and behold, they build it all. I mean, tear it all down. Now they already got a playoff win, starting to rebuild after us, and now they're in the playoffs again. It's crazy because we were starting our rebuild then when we traded Tunsil away, and they were in win now mode. They went out of win now mode, broke it all down, and they won a playoff game. Yes, their division is a little bit less brutal than our division. If we were in that division, maybe we'd be a division winner, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. We're in the AFC East, and it's just how it goes. We're not with the Texans and the Jacksonvilles and those teams. So it's just how it falls. But yes, Texans have gone and won a playoff game with a rookie QB at the helm. So it's let's just be fair, and a first year coach at the helm. So I don't know what excuses we can have. It's just tough, man. It's tough when you see that on that front on who's winning and who's not. Granted, injuries played a major part of this season. I don't make it as an excuse, but I will point out that we did um have injuries. Guys, remember, you guys are all great, man. Keep it super cool because you're all cool in your own way, guys. We just, like I said, we just disagree on how things are going to be done. That's it. Only thing I have to say on that matter. But anyway, the Dolphins still can get this ship riding. They still have that potential. They finally, under the Mike McDaniel era, have a first round draft pick, picking number 21. And we got it, man. We got, at least we got some hope, because we definitely, there you guys go. We got the first round pick, which is in the 21st pick. We got the second round, which is 55. Fifth round, this is where the big hole falls. As I point out, you got to go basically 100 picks, 100 good college athletes coming off the market, going into other teams' NFL markets, while we sit there twiddling our thumbs, wishing we had those picks. As you know, I've said on the show a few times, the third round pick is a no go because of the final punch of the tampering charges. The fourth round pick is because of the Chubb trade. So we had to go from the first to the second all the way to the fifth. Then we get 2 6th-round picks and a 7th-round pick. So that is a huge gap of talent coming off the board, which I really, really wish was not a thing. To think that 100 players, man, it's like, man, that is rough. That is just rough, man. It's just rough, rough, rough. So the first night of the draft would be fun. Second night, second day of the draft, when it's like the second and the third, but then like the fourth, fifth, and man, oh, it stinks. It is what it is, though, and that's just way too much space in between draft picks. Yes, you got it somewhere. I agree. They got to trade down at some point in the draft for sure. Which safety is more important to bring back? Deshaun Elliott, who played excellent last year, or Brandon Jones, who I heard maybe. I I would like to get them both back, but yeah, I know Deshaun Elliott has mentioned he wants to come back. Of course, people say that all the time, but at least you got a guy that's saying he would love to have something worked out. But yes, I've heard the same thing, Timothy, about Brandon Jones being a good fit under Weaver's, perceived system that he's going to bring in. Of course, he's not going to discuss exactly what he's going to do, but from what I understand, if it's anything like Jack Baltimore and all of that, then yes, maybe he would be a good fit. I know there are some cornerbacks also that we're going to need to look at. So our whole secondary basically needs some tuning up. It's not easy. So many questions. This season is going to be, I mean, every offseason. Let's face it, the years that we have tons of cap money to spend and tons of draft picks to get, it's interesting in that manner. This year is interesting in, like, who are we going to let go because we have to get under the cap? Who are we going to take with our limited draft picks? Who are we going to bring in once we do free up some of that money in free agency? Who are we going to bring in? Who are we going to retain? So many unanswered questions, and we have no clue what they are thinking. We have no clue. Rather bring in offside, are we going to linebackers? What's Baker's status? Is he one of the guys that's done? Is Jerome Baker no longer a Dolphin? Another long tenured Dolphin. Gone with Xavier Howard, gone with Wilkins. There's so many unknowns as we sit here on what? February 21st. So it's so many unknowns as we entered this free agency period. And it's just a lot of big, important moves. Jobs on the line, unless this Chris Greer really has dirt on Ross. His job has to be on the line entering this year because, I mean, how many years are you going to give him to rebuild a team? He's already hired two coaches. He's drafted his quarterback. These are supposed to be the ones that, and he's had his multiple draft picks. These are supposed to be the moves that make you the next level team. So, he got a chance to hire two coaches. A lot of general managers don't get that chance. He's been given a chance to hire two coaches to right this ship, and we still haven't won a playoff game. So, if Greer is not on the hot seat this year, he will never be on the hot seat. His seat better be very hot in my book. And I don't wish him ill will. He's done it the right way. He's worked himself up from regional scout all the way up to the head spot in the Dolphins decision making process, of course, under Ross and stuff like that. But you know what I mean? As far as football decisions, he's basically the man. And if he ain't on the hot seat this year, if we don't win, I don't know. He never will be. You might as well just give him a lifetime contract, and it is what it is. Oh, no, I know safety is one of the problems, but definitely not a big problem. There's a whole bunch. What did they agree with me? Had a ton of draft picks. You see, it doesn't matter. Yeah, but I'd rather have draft picks and not have draft picks. At least give them the chance to hit the lottery. You know what I'm saying? At least throw the right dart at the dartboard. And he did have some good, solid draft picks over the years. Did he draft anyone that you would say that is elite at this level yet? No. Waddle shows signs of being very, very good and probably one of the best number two receivers in the NFL. Jalen Phillips was showing some promise before he ran into the injury problem. And, you know, but yes, Austin Jackson is good. Tua is good, not definitely not elite, definitely not great. And we will see. So yes, he hasn't hit that elite status pick where you're just like, wow, that's a game changer on the team. Trying to think of other guys, definitely the last couple of drafts, again with limited draft picks, we haven't had much. We did have a Chan, a Chain. I forget which one down is the correct one, but anyway, he came out and he I think it's a Chan is the correct way. I used to say a Chain, so a Chan. He's he's a good hit. He needs to stay, of course, healthy. That was his problem. But yes, as far as I I I don't think we hit as hard on the draft as we could have when we had all those multiple picks. I agree with you on that front. He does, but if you look at most teams, I guess it's probably almost the same percentage of hits and misses. But teams that get up there and win, they're the ones that somehow, whether you better scouting departments or whatever. Because to me, we all blame Greer, but a lot of it's he's going on what the scouts are telling him because he's not, he's doing all kinds of things. The scouts are out there every day. They're the ones, their job are to tell him and feed him the information. Hey, these are our top linebackers. These are our top offensive linemen. These are our corners, our quarterbacks, our receivers that we've done the work on. So they develop their board going across, and it's just is what it is. So because he's not out there, but he may go. He went to a couple of the games, like when the quarterback process was going on and all of that stuff. But he goes on the information he's given. So maybe it's from the scouting department. They maybe have to tear it down from the whole scouting. Maybe we don't have the right people on the player personnel side and college directing side and all of that kind of stuff. But hey, we see. Yeah, I know. I'm surprised, Scotty, that we didn't make any moves there, actually. I am. And sorry, guys, I know I said I was going to drop a link, but I'm going to probably have to keep this short because I have a medical, just a Zoom, whatever meeting right at 11. So I have to, I don't want to carry it over because I'm famous for talking too much. And especially once I get all you two guys into, and don't worry, I'm healthy, as you can see, it's just follow up stuff to make sure I'm all rolling and growing. Hey, hooked it up, Joe. Yeah, that is. No, I agree, man. Listen, Greer, Joe, thank you by the way for coming in here and as always. But I agree. Greer to me is part of the problem, not the solution. I hope he makes me eat those words. Like I said, I would be willing to take all of my feeds out where I knock Greer and I'll play them because I stand behind and say I just don't think he's that great at what he does. And I don't even know why he's still here. He should have been gone when they blew it up with Gase, is what I say. The minute Gase was gone, Greer, it may have been an unfair rap because he was just starting to get into those that power, but he was still with the organization. He was still listed as a general. I would have just brought in outside the box thinking, let him go find the coach and whatever. And if that coach would have still, I mean, that general manager still would have hired Flores, fine. You know, it is what it is. But they just needed to let him go, bring outside the box, think into the organization. And I don't know. They need to just bring back old fashioned scouting, man. Get these scouts, not listen to services or whatever they get their information from. Get boots on the ground, man. Go out there, scout these guys, good old fashioned style that's actually employed by the team, not just a part of his service, that has the best interest of the Miami Dolphins at heart. Ross has the money to have one of the best scouting departments in the league if he wants it. You need that eye for the talent, man. Not everyone has it, obviously. And then players that have played may think some guy's good that's not good. It's just, it's hard. It's not easy. And for whatever reason, Greer to me, it hasn't worked with the picks. And then when he went with the F them picks theory that the Rams did a couple years ago, it hasn't worked. So he hasn't worked. It hasn't worked with him drafting, and it hasn't worked with him going and getting the big name players. So I don't know what avenue he's going to take moving forward. Yep, scouting day is so universal. It really comes down to GM selection if they think they know something to others. Yes, but again, the general managers for the most part get fed that information from their services and stuff because they're not out there every single day. Down, they will go to the combine, but there's been like years that our front office skips the Senior Bowl and these different practices when you hear there's other scouting general managers out there and stuff. So it's just you never know, but just get out there and look. But yes, hey, the buck normally stops with the general manager or football operations, whatever a team may deem their top football decision maker, whatever title they want to give them. End of the day, it's going to stop with them because they're the ones that gets that final name that's called on the card that they get to send in. It comes down to them. They're going to ask their coaching staff. They're going to, because I think Greer goes to his coaching staff a lot and listens to them and gets their take from them, and then he makes his own decision. So it's a whole process, but somewhere in the process, the Dolphins haven't gotten it right for way too long. That's what I don't get, and it's very frustrating as a Dolphin fan, and it is what it is. So, guys, what do you think of? I almost forgot Tannenbaum. I called him. Do you think him saying that Waddle should be traded is just crazy or something to look into? Because Barry Jackson did bring up that we're going to have to decide here now to put the 5th-year option, pick his 5th-year option up on him as he's entering that 5th-year option for, so where we're going to have him for the following season, the 5th-year option, because he's on contract this year, but we got to pick up Jalen Phillips is another guy. So we got a lot of decisions to make even on the 5th-year options this year. So I have no clue what they're going to do. We will see on what they do. It's just things. Uh, yeah, I know. I call him Tannenbaum. He is another failed one, just like Jeff Ireland was another failed one. We just haven't hit in that spot for way too long that makes the decisions that you're just like that you want to anoint king. We just haven't gotten that guy yet. We just haven't. And then also talk about, so many things in the Miami Dolphins get mentioned, and because everyone thinks they are going to be the guy that fixes the Dolphins. They were talking Spillman, who was a general manager with the Dolphins back in the day. Him and I forget who else. They were asked to name if they had a redraft of the 2020 quarterback class, who they would draft. Tua came in last out of all of them. So I'm like, we get no love. Love came number one, believe it or not. The guy that had just that late run, he said that would be the number one guy that both of them said they would take number one. They would take Jordan Love, then Joe Burrow. So see, it's recency bias. Spillman did say, well, this is some recency bias to his credit. He said there is some recency bias. But he would take Jordan Love, Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Herbert, Tua. Those are the ones. That's where, and they all had Tua last. Again, it's just talking heads on TV. They don't have NFL jobs anymore. So their say is just about what our say is, but it just shows that a lot of people think we picked the wrong quarterback. We had no chance at Burrow unless you would have traded 50,000 picks to move up to get him. But other than that, we had a chance at all those other quarterbacks. We chose Tua, as you guys all know if you're watching this show. So me, I don't really get into that, but that was on. They played the clip on the Joe Rose show while I was driving around, and they played what Spillman had said. So to be number 5 out of all those quarterbacks, that's an issue. Well, see, I guess I can drop the link for a minute. But like I said, I really got to be somewhere 11 a.m. sharp. There, guys, I'm dropping the link. There it is, guys. I dropped the link. Like I said, if you want to come in, it's going to have to be short. I'm not cutting you off, but I got to be out by 11 on the nose. So I agree, Ralph, or as your Bobby would say, Ralphie boy. But you are 100%. You can't trade Waddle. It's just him talk. They, you know what? They need to talk to. I mean, they pay Tannenbaum to talk football. And so what are they going to go? He has to come up with crazy stuff. So we will see on that end. Guys, I dropped the link, but like I said, I got to be out in 13 Dan Marino minutes. Oh, Steve. Steve is in the house. Hey, Steve. Long time no talk since last night.
Yeah, man. How you doing?
No, I can't come. Oh, well, Ralphie L is coming in too. Hey, Ralphie.
Hey, Ralphie. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, but
how's it going?
Good.
All is good, Ralphie boy.
Good to see you guys, man.
Hey, good. So, Steve, what did you want to say? You said drop the link. So, what do you want to say?
No. Earlier I heard you talking about the draft and picking, and we got the first draft pick and all that stuff. I'm more keen to dropping down in the draft. Maybe picking up two second round picks or something like that. Now, if we don't do that, here's the thing, man. We got an offensive line, right? With free agents of Connor Williams, Robert Hunt. We got Wynn. We got Kendall Lamb. All of them are free agents, right? Now you go to the deep. Now I'm talking just about the in the trenches. Then you go to the defense, right? And now we've got Raekwon Davis. You've got Christian Wilkins. We don't know what's going to happen with him. It's a pipe dream to believe he's going to come back to Miami.
Yeah.
And then we're missing who's the other one I wanted to say? Raekwon Davis. Oh, and then we got our 2 edge rushers that are injured, and we don't know when they're going to come back. Sometime during the year they'll come back. We don't know when, right? And then we got AVG, who I think is going to go with Fangio in Philadelphia. All right. So now we got, how many is that? 8? That's 8 just in the trenches, right? And we've got a first round draft pick, a second round draft pick, a fourth, a fifth, and 2 6 or something like that, right? So we have a total of 6, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Chris Greer is going to have to hit on every one of those draft picks, every single one of them, because guess what? You've got to replace those 8 folks that I just mentioned. Are we going to get sick? Is he going to hit on all 6 draft picks that are going to be starters? Are going to go in place of those guys? Are we going to go for free agencies? I don't know. But this draft is a very, very, very critical draft this year. He has to hit, man. There's no question about it. You've got those 8 needs, and I haven't even begun to talk about the linebacker core that we're going to lose. Probably Jerome Baker, right? Probably and I didn't even mention Agba. Agba's going to go too. And then we got to replace Jerome Baker. Then we don't know what we're going to do with Deshaun Elliott or Brandon Jones or Nick Needham.
Yeah. Hey, let me get Ralphie Boy in here because I got to go pretty soon. Hey, Ralphie, I'm so honored for you to be here today. So what are your thoughts, Ralphie? Hey, let me get Ralphie Boy in here because I got to go pretty soon. Hey, Ralphie, I'm so honored for you to be here today. So what are your thoughts, Ralphie?
Yeah, it's my pleasure being here, gentlemen. I'll tell you what.
Nope, we lost him. I lost you, Ralphie Boy. All right, well, let's see. But anyway, Steve, I almost have to go. Ralphie, you're both going to come back in for a couple minutes if you get that time. I don't know what happened. You dropped out on me. But anyway, Steve, yeah, you're right. We got a lot of needs as we sit here today, February 21st. We got a lot of questions to answer. We just got to get under the cap first among everything else. So before you even start fixing your team, you need to get under the cap.
There you go.
So it's just so much to do. And yeah, just a lot of people. Mike Sterner's no big fan of Greer either, or Ross. Love to throw crap at the wall to see what sticks. Most of the time, nothing does. So Manalo says, Steve, expecting 100% hit rate in the draft is setting yourself up for major. We know that. But you definitely got to hit the first 2 picks. The first 2 are definitely. If we need 2 starters out of this draft or contributors, I know starters sometimes, depending on position, can be, misleading because you rotate guys depending on the position. Let's see, we got Ralphie coming back. Hey, Ralphie, sorry you fell out.
I know, man. I'm sorry. I got a terrible signal. Listen, I'm going to tell you real quick. I really believe that we have to get rid of Connor because he's hurt. I think we need to get a true center. Let me lower my TV. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm coming.
I think we need to get a true center. Okay, I believe we should draft a true center. That guy Swift or whatever his name is, I'm not sure. He's a monster from Oregon, wherever Holland came from. That guy is awesome. I believe that Connor Williams is hurt. I think they should move on from him. We're probably going to lose Wilkins. We should, you can't make a splash and draft well and expect to pay your draft picks because it just doesn't work that way. You have to draft your picks and you have to just continue to draft. And as a draft, do what you do. Me, myself, I think Greer is not a bad person as far as getting draft picks. When he gets draft picks, are you guys with me?
Yeah, we hear you. Yep.
Okay, I believe he does well bringing in team-friendly players, and if he can do that this year, there's a lot of good guys, coming out of other teams. It's a new defense. I like being on my TV. Sorry, hold on. Sorry. I think we need to get a true center. Okay, I believe we should draft a true center. How embarrassing.
It's okay, man. Just picturing myself on a TV. I'm used to seeing myself on a little monitor. Just picturing my big face on a TV. I don't know. But anyway, thank you.
Well, I don't expect to go ahead and be able to just, to go on the air. I usually just watch, but being that I'm on with you guys, it's a pleasure being here. And I believe that, if we get team friendly contracts, we're going to be okay. I believe Chris Greer, he's not so bad. At least he's not Tannenbaum, who I couldn't stand.
Yeah, that's true.
Tannenbaum was horrible at his job. He always brought in a lot of guys, and they had to pay a lot of money. And I think this guy does well. He does short-term contracts. Tua, I was very disappointed with last year when we lost out of the playoffs and when we lost to Kansas City. And I believe that, not to make excuses, but the Eagles game, there was a lot of penalties that were against Miami, and they did not call one against them. So there's a lot of games last year that we lost, but, they could have been changed that where we should have made the playoffs. That Titans game, we should have never, ever let those guys back in the end. That killed us.
Yeah.
And Buffalo, the game with Buffalo, that game, we didn't do as good as the year before in the playoffs, where Skylar Thompson was the quarterback. I cannot stand White. Why they brought him in, I have no idea, but he sucks, okay? We need to do way better. So I believe that this year with McDaniels, Weaver, and what we got, I believe it's a new year. I'm going to give them a fresh chance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's it. That's my 2 cents for now. Yeah, I'll listen and tell me what you guys think.
Ralphie, I only have 1 cent normally, so your 2 cents was greatly appreciated. I got to roll out, guys. I appreciate you guys being on today, all you guys in the room. I'm down there a couple minutes before my Zoom meeting starts from up in Gainesville. So, guys, thank you. Yep, fins up. Dolphins #1. Steve, thank you. It was fun last night. Us and El Capitan, so it was fun.
That was great, by the way.
Oh, yes, you were there too. So thank you watching. So thank you, Ralphie.
Absolutely.
All right, later, guys. Fins up.
All right,
Dolphins
later.
#1.
Thanks for having me on.
Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you want to know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, 'cause they play